Ramosha David Meir told this to me, and I wrote it down, I reviewed it with him. He heard this a few times from Ramosha Aaron Reich Shlita, who is the son-in-law of Rabbi Ya'nקעלע Mepshעווארסק, a Yid came to Rabbi Ya'nקעלע crying that he had a son who was off the derech, he was on drugs, and he was engaged in illegal activities, and he was actually in jail. And his wife and kids told him to throw the kid out of the house because he's ruining the house, he's ruining the other kids, and he's ruining their good name. They have single girls who need shidduchim, and they're not going to be able to do shidduchim because this kid, not only off the derech, but engaged in illegal activities as well, was in jail. It's terrible for the family name. Rabbi Ya'nקעלע grabbed his hands and he said, keep him home, chas v'shulim, do not throw him out of your house. The end of the story is like every good Chassidish Maisa. He came back and he has a beautiful frum home, and his kids are all Erlich frum kids. Generations were saved because the father got the chizuk. Don't throw the kid out. By the way, when you throw the kid out, it doesn't really help with shidduchim. They'll be like, oh, what happened to Shlomi? Oh, he's not part of our family anymore. Oh, then it's okay. They still know that you have a struggle. In fact, today in our dar, we have so many people in our TP mishpacha who can vouch that people do shidduchim because your house is calm, because you embrace all your kids, because you were accepting. It's a reason to be meshadach, not the opposite. And that's the story of Rav Steinman. Rav Steinman Zatzal. This is mamash a TP Maisa. There was a family here. They had a top seminary girl, and then they had another girl who was a kip, who was off the derech and wore pants and short sleeves, the whole thing. He did an amazing shidduch with the seminary girl. And after the vart, right, everybody's clearing out. It was already like official. He was sitting with the new mechutin, and he said, can I ask you a question? He said, sure. He said, did you know that I have a daughter who's off the derech? He said, I did. Can I ask you, it didn't bother you? He said, the truth is, it did bother me. So I called Rav Steinman. He called Rav Aaron Leib Zatzal, and he said, what should I do? Rav Aaron Leib said, and this is already many years ago, he said, in our days, you can't hold it against any family for having a struggling soul. But here's what you should look out for. If the kid who is struggling is not a part of the family, is not close to the family, not part of the family, don't do a shidduch with such a family. If they're embraced and they're part of a family, such a family you could do a shidduch with. So he told me with tears, I have a recording of him, he said, I was worried about shidduchim for my daughter by keeping my kip daughter home. If I would have thrown her out, this daughter wouldn't have gotten such a shidduch. It only came out because of the fact that I did keep my kip daughter home. I get calls all the time about you wonderful families for shidduchim. And people want to know, did you accept or did you not accept? And I'll tell you off the record, I did a shidduch for my princess with a family that had a kid off the derech. And I didn't need to. She was a top girl, Baruch Hashem. What did I do? I did research. Do they accept him? If they accept him, before I knew about Rabbi Aaron Leib, it didn't turn me off from the shidduch at all. So there's always a way for the good things to happen. By the way, it was a very interesting chasana, and the kid got like really rowdy at the end, and by the mitzvah tanz, he was like making a real scene, and I put my arm around my mechutin by the mitzvah tanz, and I said, aren't you happy you did a shidduch with me? I said, it's fine, leave it. That kid today, and I'm not exaggerating at all, besides the fact that he now is clean, besides from the fact that he's straight and narrow, besides the fact that he's frum, besides the fact that by his afruf, I sat behind him and I watched this guy who was like this loud, big guy turn into somehow this edel guy who was davening like this, Shemona Esrei, and I was just, I couldn't move, I was just, and I was thinking, look what how much this guy in a few years, look what he steigt, and I'm the same ferd that I was 4 years ago. And this guy, look at him change his whole mahus. His whole mahus. He's a Rebbe today. He's a Rebbe. I'm very close to him. He was by me for Shabbos in the summer in my house. He's a Rebbe. He's an inspiration. He's probably the most fine and edel and quiet person. But by the Afruf, after one of the speeches, he got up and he's drunk. I want to speak. I want to speak. He was so he was a kip. And it didn't bother me at all. And today he's the most edel, sweet, tzaddik of a kid. Tzaddik. So this is what we have to know. Don't, chas v'shalom, throwing out neshamas never helped anybody. It doesn't help them, the kid. Doesn't help for shidduchim. Doesn't help for us as parents to be oimid b'nisayin. The nisayin, like I always say, it's not akedas yitzchak. Unfortunately, some people would rather have akedas yitzchak. It's amidas yitzchak. It's hug yitzchak. It's embrace yitzchak. That's the nisayin of the dar. V'heishiv leivavos albanim, and then v'leibanim alavoisam. And this is what happens when Mashiach comes. That's the last thing. That's what Eliyahu Navi comes. And you parents are going to be able to be there on the front lines. Say, no matter what our kid did, we listened to what the Baal Shem Tov said, what the Chazon Ish said, what all the Svarim said, no matter what they did, because no matter what somebody does in this world, they can do tshuva. We had kids head to toe in tattoos who are shayim Torah mitzvahs today. It's sad what they did. There was a reason why they did it. But it's scars. But they could do tshuva, and they could end up in Elam Haba. And I believe in the next world, we're going to need special permission to go up and visit them. I just want to end with this. Today, I went into Shachris, and there's a boy from the early TP parents who literally, I mean, Hashem does everything, but I was the shliach to talk sense into the parents who were extremely tough on this kid. And he knows about me. And he was a very, very, very big rebel, tough kid, drugs, the works. And he davens in the same shul very often when I daven Shachris. And I just, he's lechtig. He's lechtig. This kid is just a yum. So I see him there. I didn't see him in a while. And I turned around, and all of a sudden he's there. And he gave me such a smile. And I didn't even say anything to him. I just put my arm around him. I was thinking, like, Hashem, like, I hope I could, like, hold on to him in the next world. What he had to be oimid and muskaber to come back from where he came from, a Baal Tshuva is bigger than all of us. A Baal Tshuva who had to overcome pain and trauma. It's the highest level. And he gave me such a smile. And then after my Shemona Esrei, right, I finished Shemona Esrei during Chazaras Hashatz. He was still davening Shemona Esrei, so I just got to look at him. And again, this Edelkeit, and he was davening like this. He was just davening with his talis over his head. He's married, he has kids, and he's just davening to Hashem. I was like, it's pure neshama. You would never imagine that 10 years ago, whenever they came here, 12 years ago, that they wanted to throw him out, and he was doing, I don't even want to say. So there's hope for everybody. But we're their hope. We keep the door open, right? And we pave the road behind them, so when they're ready to turn around, they don't have to crawl back home and, oh, my parents said they sat shiv on me and they hate me and everybody. No. We're right here, right behind you. As soon as they turn around, boom. You're inspirational. You really are. You're inspiration to me and to Klal Yisrael. What you've done? Can you imagine from the day I met you, if you were able to see a video now of where you are, what you Nebuch had to do, but it's godless. It's like somebody who's weak and goes to the gym, and then a couple of years later can lift, thousands of pounds. The self-control that you went through when you walked with your daughter in Yerushalayim, and she was not legally dressed. Forget about frum dressed, and now Baruch Hashem, she's getting more and more. Miracles are happening. The tznius her clothing is growing magically, and she's going to get married. Kadas Moshe v'Yisrael, and her chassan's making her wait longer between milchiks and fleishiks even. Mitzvah Hashem by all of us. Should all have Yiddish Nachas from your kids, and get out there and help Klal Yisrael have clarity, because there's so much confusion.